ex-president would have been the Red Fox. And in the 20s, when the fire company needed a fundraiser, they laid claim to the unowned equine that were out here, which there were other equine that were owned at that time. But the fire company, using the feral horse law of the day, laid claim to what didn't belong to anybody else out here. With the idea they'd sell a few of the creatures and raise money for the fire company. And that would in turn the whole population of the creatures out here. From whatever individual you get it from, it really kind of depends on how that individual's bread is buttered as to what they would say. Personally, it could be either story, in my opinion. I think the DNA evidence is pretty compelling. The ship that they would have come from, the wreck of the Legalga, it is thought to have laid to rest. Like I say, up there where that yellow line is, where that deer's antler is on my map up there, there's a guy that's written a book about the ship. It's called The Hidden Galleon. He's been looking for it since the early 80s, I guess it is. And he thinks he's found it. He's been submitting permit application requests to the the Wildlife Service, to do non-intrusive magnetic surveys of the area where he believes it is, up there on Chincoteague. The Wildlife Service had not been approving nor denying his permit for, I think, around 10 years. They were just sitting on it, with the idea that the thought process is that if they approved the permit and he looked and he found it, the American Antiquities Act would take over and the Wildlife Service would have no control of a dig site or an archaeological excavation at that point. The American Antiquities Act says that these historic relics have to be exhumed and preserved for future generations to learn about. If they denied his permit, then he could appeal it to the Department of Interior, take it a step up from them, and they might approve it, and he might look. And if he looks and he finds it, then he's probably going to be able to dig it up out there. The going theory is that the Wildlife Service doesn't want either a dig site done up there, or they don't want the ship to be brought up. If John has found the ship, which they just let him look in April, he got him over a legal barrel and was able to look in April, and he said he found something, but I think he has to have a real archaeologist sign off on it before any further development can happen. But if he's found it, which is a big if, and if they let him dig it up, which is another big if, but if he finds any evidence of horses on it, that's the primary rebuttal to the ponies coming from that ship, is that there's no listing for horses on the manifest, so there weren't any on the ship, shouldn't have been out there. John maintains that there's some precedent-setting wreck sites where equine have been discovered on Spanish shipwrecks in which there were no horses on the manifest out there, and the theory is that it's the Spanish soldiers' horses that would not have been listed as cargo on the ship out there. So if he can find, skeletal remains, a bridle, a saddle, anything that would lead you down the path of there being equine on the ship out there, then that throws the primary rebuttal right out the window. And really, I think that would tie the whole thing back together. That would actually